What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful Friday night. It is Friday, August 7th, and we're back again, doing it one more time, as we do every Friday night. I just want to thank you guys all for joining in with us. Once again, we have jumped on social media, so make sure you follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. On Twitter, we are at @theblown_save, and on Instagram, @theblown_save. So don't forget, you can also reach out to us at theblown_save_podcast@gmail.com. But I am nobody without my partner in crime, the one, the only, Mr. Casas. How you doing, baby?
How are we holding up over there?
I'm holding up, dude. I had an enjoyable day off. We did some errands this morning, sitting by the pool a little while ago. You know, just sipping on some scissor. Speaking of which, what are you drinking tonight?
Drinking a little Coke with my Jack, as usual, because remember I went to the store last week, so I'm drinking.
Oh, that's right. You actually have stuff this time.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy. Yeah, so I just finished eating my lunch, a little McDonald's, and I got one of those those dollar drinks, the Cokes. So I drank most of my Coke with my food, and then it left a little bit of room towards the end now to drop in some Jack.
Ooh, nice. So cheers, cheers, cheers. I'm drinking my usual, the Jameson and ginger ale, enjoying a nice Sunday, Friday. I was gonna say Sunday in the pool, but Friday in the pool. So cheers to you, man.
All right, cheers. Let's see here.
And let's just jump right into it, because I know we got stuff going on, and we're on a ticking time bomb, because if the little guy wakes up, we're all donezo's anyway. So
yeah,
let's rock and roll. First things first, the XFL is back. The Rock and the RedBird Capital and his RedBird Capital Partners have purchased the XFL for about $15 million. The sale must be approved by a bankruptcy judge at a hearing this Friday, which was today, and actually it has been approved. So congratulations to The Rock, congratulations to the RedBird Capital Partners that he has had. They have now purchased the XFL, and The Rock was quoted as saying, and I'm not going to actually quote him, I'm going to paraphrase what he said, but basically it's going to be able to give athletes a second chance to be able to go out there and prove themselves to be professional athletes. So congrats to that, and I'm glad the XFL is back. I don't know if they're going to change anything that the XFL was, since it was brought up by Vince McMahon and the WWE kind of thing. So we'll have to see what changes that are made, but Rock said to expect the XFL back in 2021. So we'll see what's up.
I mean, it's pretty cool. It feels like I don't know if you saw the series on HBO. Like, I watch it pretty religiously, and it's pretty cool. It feels like the Ballers, like his series, is coming to light for him. You know?
You know what? I said that to somebody, and they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm glad that you watched Ballers, because I completely agree. Everything that he was doing in the series, I think is coming to. I think that pushed him to do something like this. Honestly, I don't think if it wasn't for that series, he wouldn't be doing this. And because of that series, he's doing this now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, but he's a dude that always seems to be trending forward, anyways. You know?
Yeah.
I know that they're not too happy with the approach he took in terms of the Fast and the Furious and how he branched out and stuff like that, and they felt like he sold out, type of thing. But I understand why he did it. He's just always in college football, and then that didn't work out, so he's like, all right, well, how am I going to move forward? And he went to wrestling, and he did that, and he did really well. And he's like, okay, I did this at the highest level. Now what am I going to do now? Okay, I'm going to be an actor. Oh, okay, I've been doing this at the highest level. Now what am I going to do? You know, like, he's always kind of moving forward, and that's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
And it reminds me in some way of, like, what, like, let's say LeBron James and people like that. Like, what are they doing beyond what I guess was expected of them, the norm, you know?
Right.
Like, you know how LeBron's created the school, I believe it's the Promise, I Promise School, I believe it's called.
It's something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, you know how he created that, and like, he's just branching out. Same thing with, like, Magic, you know, how he kept continuing and growing as a person. Like, The Rock is doing it in just a different route, you know. Everybody has their own way, their own path.
Yeah.
So kudos to him. Kudos to him.
Absolutely. All right, jumping from the XFL, making a quick switch to the MLB. Before we get into the angel bashing, because I know you're ready for it. Quick quiz.
I think I beat him up enough last week. I just wanted to put it in there, but there's good stuff to talk about. Then go for it.
Who was the unofficial reason for the 3 batters per pitcher rule? Do you know this answer?
What? Say that again.
Okay, so who was the reason why who was the unofficial reason why the 3 batter per pitcher rule was instated in 2020?
That's interesting. Who is the question in there?
I would have for this.
I have no idea. I really no idea.
There's actually a pitcher against your Dodgers in 2018. Anything jumping up?
Honestly, I wouldn't know because in my mind, like a whole bunch of lefty specialists come into play. That's usually the ones that come into mind because a lot of these lefties can't face righties for whatever reason.
Right,
you know,
right.
Righties could face lefties, but it's just different. I don't know how to explain it, but I tend to see a lot of these stupid lefties bringing a lefty in, and I agree they just wasted so much time. You know, it just became dumb. You know, and I like the rule. I like the way the rule they had it, but can't say that I know.
All right. 2018 Game 5 of the NLCS, the Milwaukee Brewers came out and said they were going to have Wade Miley starting pitching for the Brewers against the Dodgers. So the Dodgers loaded up on the right side of the plate. He went out and he pitched to one batter, a lefty. It was a lefty-lefty matchup. He threw 4 balls. They walked him. And then he came out of the game, and then they had their actual starter come in to play the next I think 4 or 5 innings. The Dodgers ended up winning that game anyways, but it was actually really really funny because of that. Unofficially, they were like, okay, so relief pitchers, no matter where you come into the game, you have to face at least 3 batters or finish off the inning before you switch the pitchers. So I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, it came up. I heard it. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna see if Artie knows this one. So unofficially, it's the unofficial Wade Miley rule.
Okay.
For the,
I do remember that happening. So there's a couple of things that I want to piggyback on that. That's really cool. I do remember that. I do know it was kind of like, I guess, like you said, unofficially. But one, do you remember that time that I believe it was Arizona Diamondbacks were supposed to play the Colorado Rockies, and the game started, but then it quickly got postponed, maybe like the first inning or something like that, like super quick. I don't remember the exact details on it, right? But I do remember the big points of it.
Right.
Big point was that it got postponed to like the next day or 2 days later or something like that. So then they came back, and the Rockies already had their lineup set, right? And it was loaded and heavy with lefties. So what the Diamondbacks do, because they had extra rest for their guys, brought in Randy Johnson to start the game. Technically start the game, even though the game had already started.
Right. And
because they had the lineup locked in and Randy Johnson's on the roster, they just brought him in as like a relief pitcher.
Right.
And dude, he just had like a dominant game. I don't think anybody got a hit off of him that game. It wasn't a no-hitter because I think somebody had gotten a hit like in that 1 inning they played or something like that. I mean, he just like dominated the Rockies because, I mean, of course, that dude dominates lefties,
right.
You know? So that's like one that I could think of for sure that was just like crazy like that, you know?
Right on. But yeah, no, I thought it was funny when I read that about Wade Miley and that situation that they brought him in just so that the Dodgers would load up the right side on batters. And because the Dodgers would notoriously have left-handed batters, so they loaded up on the right side because they said we got a left-handed pitcher coming in. He pitched one player. He threw 4 balls, and then they pulled him out of the game, brought in a righty to face the rest of the team. I mean, it didn't work. It backfired. I mean, it was the start of the whole having a what is it called? Not a starting pitcher, but where they go in and pitch like 1 or 2 innings and then they're out. The starter, but.
Right. The starter, yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, the starter, and then you have the actual starting pitcher after that. That's the second. So that was like the beginning of all that stuff, and it all started. But they're saying that it's unofficially the Wade Miley rule now that you have to pitch to at least 3 batters or finish the inning before you can switch pitchers again, which I thought was really interesting. I said, I wonder if Artie knows this one. Of all the things that Artie knows, does he know this one? And it brought your Dodgers into it a little bit, so I was like, it's going to be fair if I throw this out there. It's a Dodger thing in there, sort of. But yeah, so anywho. I'm trying to find little things like that to bring into the podcast, and
I like that knowledge.
There you
like
go.
It.
Hey,
I like
if
usually the shoe's on the other foot, but I like it when you turn it around.
It is. You know what's funny is I was gonna write the whole thing out. I'm like, no, if he doesn't know, I'm gonna get him on one. I'm gonna get one. Yeah. I got one. Yeah. Everybody gets one.
I like it. I'm proud of you. Because you mentioned to me your dad. You're like, your dad mentioned you have a lot more of the commentary, and I have a lot more of the stats, I guess, to fill in the commentary, to back up a lot of those things. And I think that's really cool because that's where we fluctuate, but it's also my background from being like a writer before, Yeah. I always think of that, and I think it's true. I think your dad nailed it on the head, and right now it's pretty cool to hear you say the opposite.
It's the shoes on the other foot, as it would be.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, moving on to oh my God, why? Moving on to Shohei Ohtani. He has been diagnosed with a grade 1 or 2 strain of the flexor pronator mass, an injury that could prevent him from returning to the mound in 2020. Officially, he will not throw for at least 4 to 6 weeks. He is traveling with the team, and actually he's been DHing, and he's got a couple home runs now. So his bat's still effective, but it's definitely a blow to the Angels organization not having him as a pitcher. I thought something was wrong from the moment he started pitching last week. I was like, he's not throwing hard. He just didn't look right. And I thought maybe he was just scared of throwing because he didn't want to hurt his arm again. But now he came back out there. He threw really well that first inning. 1, 2, 3 went right through him. But after that, it was a discomfort, and I feel bad. Like you said, he's now damaged goods, and I don't think he's going to go very far as the pitching goes. I think he may need to start looking at focusing either coming in as a relief pitcher next year, somebody out of the bullpen or something like that, or just strictly DHing and hidden, or maybe learning a position on the field. But DHing is probably, if we end up going with the universal DH, I think that's where his niche is going to be at this point going forward. What do you think?
I do too, but man, he's got to learn something. He's athletic enough, dude. I think he can learn in the positions. He strikes me as being a pretty good outfielder. I think he'd be a good outfielder, but again, then comes into the play of using his arm. How much is he going to be able to use it?
Yeah,
that type of thing.
That's why I said I would see him coming in as a relief pitcher, a setup man coming into 7th or the 8th inning, doing one inning of pitching, and you're good. You know what I mean? He can still throw. I mean, if he gets healthy, he can still throw hard. But I don't think you can use him as a starter anymore. You have to use him as either a setup or a relief pitcher, maybe a long reliever. But that I think is pushing it. You don't want to ruin it.
Why not make him a closer, dude? That dude's got the electric stuff to be a closer.
You could throw 101. You could close all day long.
You need someone. And then remember we talked, I think I mentioned it to you last week, that I think Major League Baseball is going to go back to the 2 or 3 inning closer kind of roles that they used to have in the 80s. I think he'd be a perfect 2 inning closer kind of guy. I still think he could be revolutionary. How we were talking about, dude, it's him and the dude from Tampa Bay, McKay, I forget his name, that are hitters and Shohei, when you're getting injured this much, I feel bad for the guy, because we've all had our injuries through sports, and you try to fight through them, but they just don't seem like they're small injuries. They're not nagging stuff for him. They're stuff that are going to require surgery, and when you require surgery, especially at that level, you might not be the same,
Yeah. I'm
so I really think for his career wise, he could easily be if he played more often, he'd hit 30 home runs a year, and then in maybe his career year, he could probably touch 40 for sure, Again, he'd have to play a lot more. If you still want to use him in the double manner capacity, like you said, I think he might have to switch over to a reliever role where he's a closer or a 2 inning kind of closer, because he's got that kind of stuff. Again, it depends on how his arm is and stuff that.
I was saying, because you bring in, let's just say they don't go to the Well, I mean, I guess you could. There'd have to be some clarification on the rule. But if he was the DH for the game, right, and you have a pitcher, and then you pull the pitcher out, and then you throw him in to pitch, like there's got to be some sort of double switch kind of thing that they got to do to allow him to pitch the same day he DHs, even if it's for an inning or two. Does that mean then when you pull him out to bring another pitcher in, he can no longer DH? I think it's got to be there's got to be some clarification there to be able to let him do that on the same day he hits. But if not, I mean, to have him in the bullpen, to have an arm that can throw easily 100 miles an hour, and that splitter that he's got to easily be able to throw that at 90. You know what I mean? It's something that you can't let go. You know what I mean? You have to let it sit there, and you can't let it go to waste. So I think at this point, let him get healthy, let him become a reliever. Maybe, like you said, long reliever, closer, a setup man, or like you were saying, a 2-3 inning closer. Let him come in at the end of the game, throw heat for 2-3 innings, and call it a day. You know what I mean? Let him shut the games down.
Yeah, I totally agree. I still think he could be elite like that. You know, I really do.
Yeah.
He has the stuff, but now he just doesn't. I mean, his best year he went 3-2, right? 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He didn't pitch last year. He's already hurt this year. That's 3 years out of his career already, and he's already. How old is he? That's it. Actually, I don't know how old he is.
He's 27, I think.
Yeah, bro. And then he started to reach the climax of his peak years.
Yeah,
you know,
it should be his peak. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, yeah. So he's. Yeah, dude, he's reaching it there, like where you got to make what they call it, a business decision, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, man. From one angel though to another, Mike Trout and his wife Jessica have welcomed a baby boy, Beckham Aaron Trout, aka the Bat. Okay. His middle name is a tribute to Jessica's late brother, who passed away, I believe, 2 years ago. I looked into. I was wondering about the whole paternity leave because we got a little guy on the way. So paternity leave for ball players. I don't know if you knew this. I'm going to give you some more knowledge on this one. It's 3 days off, which I feel is really, really short for what they're doing. I was expecting him to not be back for at least 2 weeks. He did come back. First at bat when he got back, he did it a home run, so I'm down with that. He's tied for third right now with 4 home runs as of yesterday. Today, I don't know who's done what yet. But honestly, I wasn't expecting to see him for at least 2 weeks, and I think so. 2 things here: one, it's crazy that his initials are BAT, and 2, it's crazy to think that paternity leave for MLB ball players is only 3 days. And granted, he got a 4th day because we had a travel day, but still, like 4 days. Like, you just had a baby and you only get 4 days off. Like, to me, it's
you got more than me. I'll tell you that.
You guys
we don't get any.
You don't get any?
Any. So the way it works for teachers is you have to burn through your what I call PTO, but it's your sick time, right? I just call it paid time off.
Right.
You have to burn through your PTO, and then FMLA starts to kick in. But the scary thing is, like, if you burn through your PTO, you go through FMLA, and then you come back, and something happens, you get sick or whatever, you're not getting paid.
Yeah, you're getting screwed.
Yeah, so like for me, off the top of my head, I might have like close to 50 days of PTO, right? I'm just throwing a number out there. So if I burn through the 50 days, which is a little more than 2 months worth, right? More than 2 months, then I go through FMLA, which again, they'll give me another month or something like that. So we're talking 3 months. Again, I got to hope that nothing happens to me until the next school year when I get another 10 days, because they only give us 10 days every year. That happens or else I don't get paid for missing.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So that's kind of the thing that sucks for teachers. And it's like that for both males and females. Now, I don't want to say like this in general, but a lot of female teachers that I've worked with, because I asked them a lot when I was first going through it with Leo, like, hey, so what did you do like for taking time off? They're the ones that broke it down for me, right? And they're like, you just literally, it's up to you. A lot of them, they're like, we're the moms, so of course we want to take that time off with our child, so we just burn through the days. But some people, it matters what kind of boat you're in too. because like one of the teachers, she only had like 10 days to use. So she's like, well, I might as well just use the 10 days and then take FMLA off, right?
Right.
And then another teacher had like, I'm not going to use all 60 days. I'll use like 20 of them because I want to stay a month home with my kid. And then after that, then I'll just come back, and I hope it lines up with, or like they lined it up with like spring break or Christmas or something like that to take a couple of extra days,
Yeah, I'm with
So
you.
I remember with Leo, for me, Leo was born, dude. It was I was at your house. Remember when her water kind of started leaking?
Yeah, I remember.
We're doing a fantasy draft, and she mentioned like, "Hey, I think I might be leaking." Blah blah blah. And I said, "I'm almost done with the fantasy draft, and then we'll go to the doctors." Right? I mean, it's the truth.
This is going to be forever on the interwebs now. So when you tell your son like, "Oh, you want to hear about what happened the day you were born?" Like, check it out. Yeah. Go on the Blow and Save podcast. Go to August 7th of 2020 and listen to that one. You'll hear all about what I was doing that day.
Yeah, so for me, I cut the break. It was I think we were drafting on a Saturday, right?
Yeah, it was.
Well, then so we went to the doctors, and then we got to the doctors, and they checked her, and like they barely even touched her, and boom, the water broke. They're like, that's it. She's not going anywhere. So whatever preparations you got to make sure she's here with the kid, start making them now, because the baby will be here either really late tonight or early tomorrow, which he ended up being like born early the next day, right?
Yeah.
So I said, all right, cool. So I was like, I got plenty of time, right? I'm not just going to go to the house and that dude's born while I'm gone, right? Thought,
right.
Oh, no. Like, she's still dilating and blah, blah, blah. You got time. I said, all right, cool. So I just made sure she was comfortable. Then I took off the house and started calling our family and stuff,
Yeah.
So, but anyways, the main point is like that happened on a Saturday, and then I had work on Monday. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking, and then I think that, so I took the rest of that week off because I can't remember if it was Labor Day weekend. No, it was right. I can't remember. No, it was right before Labor Day weekend. So I took the rest of that week off. Plus the following week after that was Labor Day weekend. So I only had to burn 5 days, I think it was, being off. And I was able to be off from Saturday to like the following Tuesday, like almost 2 weeks later. So I had, 5, 6, 7, like 10 days straight of being with him. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but considering, again, the teaching situation, it was a lot of days for me.
Yeah. I know that we get 2 weeks with Lowe's. And then FMLA kicks in afterward if we so choose to do it. I know immediately I'm going to take a couple days, but then I'm going to hold off and then try and coincide them with other time, a different time frame, so that we can maximize my time at home. So we'll just have to play it by ear. I just find it odd that MLB get 3 days off. Like,
yeah.
To me, it's crazy. 3 days, like, come on, man. You haven't even wiped the diaper yet. You haven't wiped a real diaper yet, because all you've gotten was the little black one that comes out. The first few of them are a little black and tarry-ish, and so you know what I'm talking about.
Right. Oh yeah.
So I mean, like, I feel bad, but I know that some ball players, some pitchers in Major League has already said, hey, the baby was just born. I still don't want to pitch to him because his initials are BAT. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Jesus. We'll see if we have another Trout come down the pipe 20 years from now and see what happens.
There's never been 2 Hall of Famers in one family like that, like from father and son.
Right.
So the next time that happens will be the first time that happens, and I just don't. It's very rare to see that. The closest we've seen is like Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonds and the Griffeys.
Yeah.
I mean, probably the closest, maybe the Boons. But to see someone that's great, and he's a rarity, and to think that he'll have a son that's as good as him or better is probably not realistic.
Yeah, no, we can pray and hope, and maybe that happens, but let's be realistic. Like you said, it probably won't, but if it does, it couldn't have happened to a great, yeah.
Yeah.
I retract the previous statement. No more. No mas. Moving from Mike and the happiness to some not so great news, but charges have officially been filed against in the Tyler Skaggs death, former Los Angeles Angels employee Eric K. has been charged with distributing fentanyl in connection with the death of Tyler Skaggs. The investigation is ongoing, but he has been charged, so he's going to trial to see what's going on. I'm glad that they caught the guy. I don't want to say caught the guy, but I'm glad that they are going to try and bring this man to justice and hopefully give some closure to the Skaggs family. But it's just it's horrible to know that an employee would help, I guess, with that kind of situation.
Yeah, man, everybody's trying to do a little side hustle and stuff like that, but dude, there's the right way and the wrong way to do those things, you know?
But get some autographs and try and slang them on the side, but don't be trying to sell dudes fucking drugs and shit like that. Like, that's not okay.
That's a whole different level. Just affected, families and lives and an organization. Like, dude, like it's unbelievable, it's unbelievable. But there's always those people that, I'm sure this dude didn't set out to start at end, but the problem is, they push the line a little bit. They push the line, and then before they know it, they're so past the line that
they don't know what a line is.
Yeah, they don't know where they're at anymore.
The only line they know is the one that they're snorting up their nose.
Yep, and
it was.
And again, like you said, it's the best way to put it is like, well, you did it, whether it was an accident or not. Now you got to pay the price.
Yeah, I think it was Tupac that said this one time in a song. It was something to the extent of the guy was like saying, "Oh, I made a G today, but you made it in a sleazy way." Like, yeah, you made your money, man, but look what happened, man. Like, you didn't need to do this way. You could have been like, "Hey, Tyler, man, like, let me get a couple autographs. I'm down on my luck right now. Maybe I could sound for $100 here or there and get, something to help my family or whatever it might be. But you don't got to go down this route. Like, I don't know the situation. I don't know the dude. I don't know this, anything going on. All I know is the result of these things and what's going on right now. And my heart goes out to the Skaggs family because they have to go through it some more. Hopefully the end of this trial, whatever, brings some closure and lets them put this and their son finally to rest at ease. You know what I mean?
Yep, I'm with you, bro. I totally understand.
I'm with you. Yeah. Not to just jump on to something else, but that's kind of what we have to do. The Cardinals, there has been a report that multiple St. Louis Cardinals players went to a casino before the outbreak of COVID-19. Before that thing hit really hard on that organization, the MLB players were initially discouraged from leaving their hotels, but after the outbreak, the MLB has now prohibited them from leaving. Cardinals president of baseball operations, John, I'm not even going to try and say his last name, has come forward and stated that the players are going to the casino is quote unquote not true to his knowledge. Talk about passing the buck, though. Like, he's just trying to be like, oh, well, I didn't know that he had they went to the casino. According to what I know, they didn't go. But reports are coming out. They went to the casino. The guys that came back, they infected other guys, and this is why they're having so many problems over there with the Cardinals.
I think it's pretty cool that they put all those restrictions,
I mean, I'm glad that they put the restrictions in. I'm glad that they're now not saying they're not encouraging them to do this or that. They're saying, hey, don't do this and don't do that. Like, it's like the Miami Marlins guys. They all went to a bunch of them went to a club while they were supposed to be on lockdown, and then they came back and they got everybody sick. The Cardinals guys went out to the goddamn casino. It came back and got a bunch of guys sick. Like, the one thing I could say is I'm glad the West Coast guys, the teams over here in MLB, are not following suit and actually staying home and doing what they're supposed to be doing. So kudos to the guys on the West Coast. They always say the East Coast bias and all that stuff. Well, you know what? The West Coast guys actually listen to what they're supposed to be doing. So I hope nobody dies and I hope everybody's okay with this whole situation. But still, like, we're in a pandemic. Use better judgment. Like, hopefully that these two teams show the rest of the league and the rest of the world, the rest of just professional sports, what they should and shouldn't be doing.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's just standards. This is all new, so it's not like there's protocol set in place for before this, like everything, just like with teaching, dude, this reminds me of like teaching, right? Right now we're going through a lot of stuff, and as much as we prepare and think we're like, okay, hey, we got this down and we're ready to go, right? There's still going to be unforeseen things that happen that are out of our control. And then you just figure out how to deal with them, how to work with them, what new standards or benchmarks or what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, I don't know, like when someone gets in trouble, like what's going to happen? What repercussions is there going to be,
Okay.
And that seems like what baseball is doing. And I like that they're at least reacting to it, not just letting it slide by,
Yeah, well, breaking news right now. I don't know if you guys heard the announcement on my phone right here. I didn't put it on silent. I'm sorry, but weekend series between the Cardinals and the Cubs has been postponed due to multiple positive COVID-19 tests on the Cardinals clubhouse. So they're still dealing with that, man. Like it's crazy, guys. Like I don't know who listens to this or who doesn't listen. I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, like, guys, you be smart. Like, yes, people are going to get. I think everybody eventually will have COVID in one way or another. But like, if you don't have to risk it, you shouldn't have to do all this madness. You know what I mean? Like, and we'll get into some of that stuff in the when we talk about the NCAA football and the Pac-12, but. Like right now, like you guys have every advantage to go out there and do, one, your job, two, the thing that you love doing every day, and you're going to ruin it by not adhering to the precautions that people are trying to give you so that you don't get sick and you don't get hurt. And on top of that, you don't get other people sick and you don't get other people hurt. Like, what happens if one of these guys dies? What happens if one of these guys who got somebody else sick dies? Like that, you don't want that kind of that over your head. You know what I mean?
Right. Some people don't take it serious,
People don't take it seriously until it's seriously in their face, man, sometimes.
Yep, I totally agree.
All right, man, let's switch some gears, talk about some NFL. Adrian Peterson has set his sights on number 22. And what I mean by that is AP has announced, called out Emmitt Smith and put him on notice that the greatest record in football is going to fall. AP has no plans of walking away from the game anytime soon. He said that he still has a Super Bowl ring to win and to pass Emmitt Smith as the league's all-time leading rusher. He currently only needs 4,139 yards behind. He currently sits only 4,139 yards behind the Cowboys legend, which means he would have to play well into his 40s to pass Smith. Do you think he can stay healthy enough to break that record?
Oh. No way, no how. And it's not a running league anymore, Like, it's just not a running league. I mean, when Emmitt was in it, he was in the heart of the running league, and the offenses were built around him. Look at Troy Aikman, like, his quarterback. That dude never threw 30 touchdown passes in the season.
Right.
Why? It wasn't a passing league the way it is right now, That's why they geared it towards the run. So I don't know about the whole greatest record in NFL thing. That sounds
what do you think the greatest record in NFL? Like the great Hall of Fame records. Okay, what is the greatest record that you believe? I think the rushing record is a pretty amazing record to have. Whether it have been Barry Sanders if he would have stayed in, or Sweetness, Walter Payton. I mean, it's one of those iconic records that you look at and go, wow, I don't think anybody's going to break this one. I mean, 4,100 yards away, that's not unattainable, but at his age, with his track record of being healthy, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I do think he ends up 2, 3 maybe?
Yeah, he probably finishes top 3. Frank Gore's got a better shot at breaking it than him. That dude feels like he's going to be with bionic legs and whatnot,
Frank Gore's been playing for 30,000 years already.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a quarterback's league, so I think like the quarterback records are really the ones that I like the more the single season records and the career records, to be honest. Just because it just doesn't seem like guys play that long anymore. Do you get that feeling? Especially
I see that.
Guys jump ship now a lot too. Like they're hardly ever lifers.
Here's my thing then. He was really close at breaking the single season rushing record, right? He was like, 8 yards away or whatever it was, like something really minuscule. But he hasn't come close to that again. Like, does he really feel like he has what it takes to break the all-time rushing record? I mean, he'd have to play until like 41, 42-year-old. He'd realistically have to play for like 5 or 6 more years and put up numbers over these next 5 to 6 years. Granted, one thing is what we say, the other thing is what our body does. So, I mean, honestly, I don't think he's going to break it, but I do think he ends up being top 3. But I think he gives it a good shot, but I don't think he ends up breaking it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he does give it a good shot. But, I mean, just like I said, I just don't see – it's not a runner's league anymore, you know? Like, it's just not, you know? I just don't see that. Like, I don't – when was the last time someone hit 2,000 yards? Was it Peterson? You know, like –
It was Peterson the last time he did, and that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was 8 years ago, back in 2012. So, I mean –
Was it 12?
Yeah. I mean, just like – and then prior to that, it felt like dudes were challenging that almost every single year. You know, we had Chris Johnson in 2009. We had Terrell Davis in 1998. Barry Sanders in 1997. Jamal Lewis in 2003. So, you know, we had a run at it. Like, we had Amon Green at 1,800 yards, you know, like Amon Green, dude, you know. Sean Alexander, you know, another 1,800 yards in 2005. Tiki Barber same year, and Ricky Williams the year before that. Like, you see how like the 2000s, that was like the running time. You know, that was the running back.
Well, it's like the league goes in cycles, man. For like 5-6 years, it's a passing league, and then it turns around, and now you're a running league for another 3-4 years, and then you go back to the passing. I think we're in the cusp of the passing league with you know, Mahomes and Jackson and Dak and everybody, you know, everybody's trying to air it out right now. Who's the best receiver? Who's the best receiver quarterback duo right now? I think running is there, but it's not taking a lead spot on it. So I think you're right. I mean, it may not. Maybe the thing that he should be shooting for is the single season rushing record, not the all-time rushing record. But you know, who will know? Who will see? You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I don't even see anybody breaking 2,000 yards again anytime soon. You know?
Yeah.
Because that's like heavy. It's got to be a defensive team for one. So like, if it's gonna be somebody, it's gonna be like a Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a dude that I can see.
Because even CMC, the one and only, I mean, he passed 2,000 yards, but it was half receiving and half rushing. So. And I think that's where the league's at right now. So, like you said, if anybody's doing it, it's going to be Henry.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be him because he doesn't have a quarterback that airs it out a ton.
Right.
And you need a team that's primarily defensive oriented. And to me, that's the Titans. They're primarily defensive oriented, and they don't have a quarterback that airs it out a ton. And he has the body to sustain maybe that kind of a year, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, dude. I don't see that happening. I don't see anybody approaching 2,000 yards. I mean, right now I feel like anybody that hits 1,500 yards is going to win a rushing title. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's reasonable to assume. You hit 1,600 yards, you're probably winning the rushing title just right now because quarterbacks are trying to throw 4,000, 5,000 yards a freaking season. So. I mean, it is what it is. It's the times that we're in right now. It is what it is.
Like Derrick Henry, he led it last year with 1,500 rushing yards. You know? And second was Nick Chubb at 14.
It's safe to say if he goes 1,500 again, he's going to lead it again. He's going to take the rushing record.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's just true. Ezekiel Elliott, well, see, again, he's not a dude that could see hitting 2,000 yards because he has a quarterback that likes to air it out, you know? And they're not a defensive-oriented team. They could play some defense, but they're not defensive-oriented, you know?
Why you got to bring my Cowboys into this, dude? What the fuck?
I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like, I think he's a great running back. No, I mean, it says here he had 1,600 rushing yards his rookie year, you know?
He did. He was amazing.
That's awesome.
But we'll see. Granted, and like we talked about a couple podcasts ago, he was coming out saying, hey, man, people are starting to diss me. Like, hey, you better say my name with respect. I'm top 3 the entire time I've been in the league, so you better recognize and get ready for another round when I come back in 2020. So we'll see how this year goes.
But yeah, I think he's gonna approach. I think he'll get like 2,000 total yards. Like I really do. Think
I think 2,000 all-purpose yards, absolutely, in a heartbeat. I think if you're looking at it that way, all-purpose yards, absolutely. Whether it's been receiving and running, I think he gets the 2,000 easy.
I don't think easy. He's only done it once and barely, but I think he could do it
this year. I think he's extra motivated. As long as they play the entire season, I think he's extra motivated and it gets it done. You want to put it down right now? I got $5 on it.
I'll take your 5.
All right. You heard it right here first, guys. August 7th, 2020 at the Blown State Podcast.
Hey, you know what? Hold on. Because now we're playing more games, huh?
Hey, whoa. No. You can't turn back now. You're the one that said he's not going to get 2,000 all-purpose yards. I'm telling you right now, he's doing $5 right now, baby.
No, that's not what I said. That's not at all what I said. I said he does not easily get it. You said he easily gets it. I don't think
he gets it, period. 2,000 all-purpose yards.
I think he has a shot, for sure.
So, take my $5 bet.
Can't.
I was
look at the... they're playing too many games now because now
play one extra game, and plus they're not
last year.
Plus they're not playing 3 preseason games, so technically they're playing less games to tune up.
Well, that's even better. That means his body's fresher.
I was trying to duke you there on that one. I was trying to duke and dive right there.
The interesting thing is he actually played the most games he's ever played last year.
Yeah.
Last year he played 16, and the most he had played was 15. Played 10 1 year between. So to me, that's interesting. That's another thing too. Like some of these records are kind of feel like they're being watered down a little bit, don't you think? Because of all the games that they're having to play.
Yeah, but even then, some of them aren't falling. So it goes. Yeah, it goes to show you the greatness of some of these records.
How many? What kind of numbers would have Walter Payton put up if he had 16, 17 games?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, like, that's what I mean by watered down. Like he would have broke 2,000 yards rushing a few times, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, But it reminds me of baseball too, you know, like before what it used to be 154 games instead of 162 or something like that. Oh, and like they talk about, well, Babe Ruth would have hit 70 if he would have had 162 games as well, you know? Yeah. So I don't know, but.
Well, I mean, if ifs and buts were coconuts, we'd all have a bunch of them. You know what I mean? You know, we can only say, well, if this person had this and if that person had that. I mean, all we can do is play with what we got now. And, I mean, it's not like Babe Ruth disappears because, you know, Big Mac and Sammy Sosa and freaking Barry Bonds hit all those home runs. We still know who Babe Ruth is because he did hit those within a certain amount of time. We know that he did it with a belly full of beer and God knows what else. And these guys did it with you know, muscles full of, you know, good goods. And so there's a big difference. So I think even if you get an extra, you know, I think everybody still remembers Walter Payton. Everybody still remembers you.
They remember too a lot of things that people with Babe Ruth going to that. It's like Babe Ruth faced the same pitchers over and over again. They didn't have like all these specialists, the left-handed specialists, or all these relievers. And
he did pitch he did play in the dead ball era, so it was a lot harder to hit the ball out.
It was harder to hit the ball out at the time, you know.
So I mean, you can go back and forth with that one. I mean, he faced the same guys like 30 different times. So of course he knows his pitches, but he played in the dead ball era, so it was harder to hit the ball out, and he still hit the ball out. Imagine Babe Ruth playing right now with the balls that we have now. If we go back to like the 3rd or 4th podcast, what we had when we had my cousin Gilbert over here, and we were talking about the cores and how they bounce and this and that. Like, imagine Babe Ruth now, with the balls that they have now, but against the specialist pitching. So you never know how that kind of flows. You kind of have to go with the records, and you have to kind of go with what they did while they were there. And I think that's the way you have to approach all the records. Like, yes, okay, this person may break it, but what did they do while they were there to break it, aside from cheating and using steroids and whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think we all know what they did. What they didn't use to break the records.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Real quick, one more thing in football right now. Dak has called for an inmate's release. Dak is asking Oklahoma governor for the release of death row inmate Julius Jones. Do you think Artie, do you think Dak should be getting involved with something like this? You think it's a smart move for him? We have seen other famous quote-unquote individuals reaching out to other high-ranking officials, but usually those are actors and actresses. What do you think about Dak getting involved in something like this? As a Cowboy fan, I understand what he's trying to do, but I think that politics and football should be two different things. But I think a lot of this world, you have to kind of dip your toes in a bunch of different things to just be out there in the world. And he has a voice, and it is what it is. But what do you think, Artie?
Listen here, Donald Trump. I think that dude has the right to do whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know much about what's going on with that case or whatever.
So apparently, let me give you a quick rundown because I read about the case. Julius Jones was accused of armed robbery with another guy. The other guy, they gave him a plea deal. He pointed a finger at this guy, Julius Jones. Julius Jones the whole time has been like, dude, I'm innocent. Like, he's never stopped saying, like, I didn't even do any of this stuff. The other guy got off with a lighter sentence and has already since been released. So this guy's like begging, like, please don't kill me. Like, I haven't done anything wrong. I've been in prison this whole time because somebody gave somebody else the opportunity to point a finger at me and get off at a quarter of the cost. Now I'm about to die, and I'm still sitting here going, hey, I'm innocent. Like, I don't know, man. What do you think?
And I think he has the right to pursue whatever endeavors he wants, whether he's an athlete or not. An athlete's career is so short, and they're looking to make a difference in the world.
Right.
And I give kudos to all those athletes that are looking to make some kind of difference in the world. And if he feels passionate about this guy and he's like, man, I'm with this guy, I really believe him, or whatever the situation is, then good for him. Is it something I would do? I don't know. Again, everybody's situation is different, But if I feel strong about something and I'm just passionate about it, of course, you voice your opinion, which is probably where he's at. So I don't have a problem with him getting mixed up with this, Like, good for him. Like, find what you're passionate about and go for it. And who cares what everyone else thinks, If Donald Trump don't want to watch NBA because he doesn't like the kneeling, then that's he has a right to his opinion, no matter how right or wrong.
Speaking of which, to our NBA fans, I do apologize. We're not going to speak too much about the NBA today, but we will get into it soon, I promise. But no, I'm with you there, dude. Everybody's entitled to their right to do whatever they want to with the platform that they're given.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I agree.
Speaking of having the platform that you're given, I'm going to segue right into the NCAA football. This last week, the players of the Pac-12 have sent a letter out to the Pac-12 people that run the whole organization. Hashtag We Are United. Health and safety issues are at the forefront of the initial talks between Pac-12 and the players. Earlier in the week, the Pac-12 players, like I said, released a letter to the Pac-12 leadership expressing their concerns over being asked to play during a pandemic in a system without enforced health and safety standards. They are asking for adequate COVID testing, the ability to have representation while being asked to sign documents that may or may not serve as liability waivers. They are also asking that in unjust rules that prevent the 98% of college football and basketball players who won't go pro from capitalizing on what they would otherwise be their most valuable years of their lives. So 98% of these guys are never going to see MLB, NFL, or NBA.
Right.
They need to allow these players to be able to capitalize on the opportunities that they do have. So they basically put out like a manifesto, man, and I don't know if you had a chance to read it. I did post it on our Instagram at the Blow and Say podcast. It's very interesting to see, like, they all came together and said, hey, man, we will sit out if these things don't happen. And apparently the talks are going well, other than getting money for being players.
Right.
What do you think about all this?
I think it's cool that they came together, because I do feel like a lot of these college athletes lose their voice because they are so obligated by all the standards that everybody else has over them, or all the control that everybody has
Right.
over them. and they're not even getting paid for it. So it's like, man, they're what's the word I'm looking for here? They're being muted a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And I think they're just I honestly think it's going to get to a boiling point eventually. Like you're starting to see it now with basketball, because basketball has like these overseas opportunities, and a lot of these elite high school basketball players, they're foregoing college basketball, and they say we're going to go play in the G League, or we're going to go play overseas for a year. And instead of having to play that 1 year of college basketball, and then we'll come back and we'll get in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
I feel like, don't get correct. Okay, this is just a wild idea, right?
Okay.
Just a wild idea. I feel like the XFL could be something like that for the elite NCAA players.
You know what, man?
It could be like, hey, we're paying you to come over here. Come on, dude. Like, we're not going to hold you back. We're not going to restrict you.
You know what's funny?
Come over here and make your money.
We kind of touched on this earlier, and I was looking over at my computer right now. I saw a face of the Rock right now, and I was thinking about how in that show that we were talking about earlier, that on HBO, you guys can go watch it there. He had an issue with the NCAA, and one of the players he was quote unquote mentoring, and how they wanted to get paid for where they were going to go and what they were going to do and whatnot, and this and that. And I think we're in that same situation. And then you bringing up the XFL being something that could be like the G League or something like that, that's going to allow these players to go somewhere else to be able to fulfill that time, to be able to come back and then be in the NBA draft, stuff like that, the NFL draft now. I think it's we're going from what we talked about at the beginning with The Rock coming full circle right now. He may be able to give these kids the opportunity to forego the restrictions that NCAA football has placed upon them on not being able to market themselves until they're in the NFL. I think that I think you hit the nail on the head on that one, dude.
Like, how do you make the XFL better? How do you make it so that more people want to watch, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the way you do it. You target the players that are frustrated. And you know who'd be perfect to target, Brent? It'd be the dudes, the freshmen that did really well. But you know how they had to come back for their sophomore year, or they had to come back for their junior? I forget. I think they could apply for the draft after their sophomore year, right?
I think it's after the sophomore year, yeah.
Yeah, so those would be the dudes to target. You know, all right, we're gonna go after this dude. You know, we're gonna get him over here, and he's already a star. He's already gonna be in there.
They're gonna get paid. They're gonna get taken care of. They're gonna get. I mean. Man, dude, I talk about what is, how do you say it? Where you talk about fantasy becoming a reality,
right? Like
The Rock going with the show that he did, going to the Baller show to what's happening right now. I could see it. Unfortunately, it's unfolding before our eyes right now. He's taking these players that are getting misrepresented, and I mean, how long is it going to take for how long have we all been saying that NCAA football, basketball, baseball players have been taken advantage of in probably the prime of their life, and then after getting 2-3 years out of them, okay, sending them off to the NFL, NBA, whatever it might be. Now, okay, we profited off of what we needed to get out of them, and then pass them along and let somebody else get some of that. Now you're giving them options to be able to say, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm cool. I'm going to go here to the XFL, and I'm going to go make a name for myself. I can go right from the XFL to the NFL if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's going to be – The Rock's always got to – he's always going to be looking long-term, dude, and you got to look for a niche, something that separates him and puts him apart from others. Man, they can't compete with the NFL. There's no way they could keep with the NFL.
No way. But if it's a stepping stone, if it's like a G League, like you said, for $15 million, The Rock just cashed the fuck in. Are you kidding me right now? Wow. You just opened my mind to a whole other animal right now, and the whole thing coming around full circle with the XFL and this right now that we're talking about. It makes too much sense not to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, we may have just broken ground right now at 4:17 p.m. on August 7th of 2020 on the Blown Safe podcast. Oh my God, shit just went down right now. Rock, if you're hearing this is what you need to do. This is what you need to make it happen. And you don't got to give us anything but sportscaster. Let us announce a game here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
I would love to announce a football game. That'd be awesome. But no, I mean, dude, mind blown right now, as they say. You know, I mean, mind blown right now with the whole situation and using that real quick and wow, man, that's a whole another animal.
Yep. So, I mean, again, it's just my thoughts on that and where I think they could go for that. And I think it could be revolutionary, and crazy ideas always start somewhere, right? What is it? It's not crazy until you do it, right?
Yeah, and once you do it, it's like, wow, that's revolutionary, like you just said.
Why didn't anybody else do this before?
Why hasn't nobody else done this? Because nobody wanted to go against the status quo, and now they are, and here we are. This is why we're at where we're at. That's why we had the American Football Conference, and then we had the National Football, or the American Football League and the National Football League, and then they came together because one of them thought, no, this is how we're going to do things. No, this is how we're going to do the other things. And then they finally came together, and we have the NFL right now. Why not have a situation like we have the G League overseas? Now we have the XFL here for players to be able to do that here. Like it's a whole other animal. We're breaking ground here on the Blow and Save podcast, man. I'm telling you. Real quick before we get out of here, Artie, unless you have anything else pertinent, surprise! During a Pirates home game, we got a fan letter that was posted on social media. A foul ball landed in your seat in PNC Park. I think it was to a season seat holder. You sent me this picture. They sent him the ball with a letter saying, hey, we can't wait to see you back in 2021 at PNC Park. I mean, how awesome is that, dude, that they would send him a letter and the ball and all that. So I know that I heard some things like at Oakland Stadium, if the ball hit your cutout and they went and got it, then you would get the ball and this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But as of right now, like, I hadn't seen anything come up except for the Pirates one.
Right, like any follow through with it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you and me both love our teams, you know, the Dodgers and Angels. I'm realistic with the Dodgers, where I think they gouge, you know, the fans a lot, and they take advantage of how much we love them, you know. And I just don't see the Dodgers ever doing something like that, you know.
Yeah,
they're more like, yeah, we need those baseballs back for batting practice, you know.
No, I'm with you there. Like, I hopefully this starts a trend with the rest of the league for something like this. And that'd be awesome. I wish I'd get a letter in the mail. I mean, the Angels didn't even give him the opportunity to buy a cutout. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Granted, the Dodgers gave you the opportunity for, you know, half a kidney and two legs.
Really opportunity, though? You know, did they really?
It was an opportunity for the rich, bro. That's what it was.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, big dog. Any last hits before we get out of here?
You forgot to mention your favorite top 5 football movies of all time.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even get into that one on this one. We're going to have to postpone that one for next one. I forgot to write that one down. I didn't even get into them. But I'll tell you right now, off the top of my head, Unnecessary Roughness has got to be in the top 10.
Okay, that's a good one.
With Sinbad in there, top 10, he's got to be in there right now. Top 10 for football movies.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights, Waterboy. Remember, I already told you. Remember the Titans, my favorite. Any Given Sundays up there. Varsity Blues. There's some other ones that are coming to my head. The Little Giants. You remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
The program. I feel like
the program was great, except when they started spitting in each other's mouths. I was not okay with that.
Let me tell you, it feels real though. Like, I feel like that's really what goes on. You know, like in college football.
Yeah, I got you there.
Yeah, man. So those are some good. Rudy, you know, Rudy.
Oh, Rudy's the top one. We're going to have to really revisit this next week so I can really put down what has been done or my top 5. I don't want to hear fucking top 25 from you again, Artie. I want to hear top 5, 10 maybe.
Right. Hater.
Top 48, all 48 movies that have ever been made about baseball. Artie loves all of them. I need the top 5, top 10. But
Invincible, and We Are Marshall.
Flowers for Algernon. Come on.
Yeah, good stuff.
We'll have to get into that. We'll get into that one next week. But anything else, Artie?
No, that's it. How I heard Trout hit a home run for his son on their first game back. That was really cool to see, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Bundy's lights out. Where the real ace of the staff.
Absolutely, I think right now. I mean, even Tehran was really good until they pulled him out, and then they gave up all those runs, and we lost the game. Like, why pull him out? But okay, it is what it is. He wasn't in spring training. He wasn't in this. He wasn't whatever. But Tehran looked great too in the 4.5 innings that he pitched. But Bundy looks amazing. He looks like a great grab. He looks like a steal that he did. But we'll have to see over the next couple games, see where we end up. I mean, we're only 2 games back in the West, which even losing that many games, we're still 2 games back. We're still in the mix.
Yeah, you're in the mix. The Yankees are interesting. You know, Judge is just an animal.
Just destroying everything right now.
Yeah, he's just on a mission this year. He's hands down to me the best player in the league right now. I hate Cody Bellinger's new batting stance. I know that's something Dodger related. I hate it.
You hate that. So uncomfortable. You hate that, and I love Kike's new mustache. So I mean, it's a little love-hate relationship right there.
Did you see Mookie Betts throw from like?
Oh my God! It's like 322 feet. He threw that a dime.
That was nice. That was a real nice highlight to see. Your boy Calhoun made this amazing catch, I think, on Justin Turner.
Not only did he make an amazing catch, he also had an inside the park home run.
Did it?
Yeah, he did. Like 2 days ago, he had an inside the park home run, dude. It was fucking amazing.
I saw yesterday. What's the name? Yelich had an inside the parker yesterday.
He had one too. That's pretty awesome. Having 2 inside the park home runs within the last 3 days.
You hardly ever see those anymore. Those are, they used to call them the most exciting play in baseball, right? Like
that and the triple play.
And we had one of those already too.
Yeah, we did.
Right, and second and first, they tripled them up right there. Yeah. That was interesting. Hey, you know what's pretty cool? I don't know if we touched on this last week. I don't remember, but you saw that the doubleheaders are going to 7 innings?
Yes. That's right. All doubleheaders going forward in the MLB 2020 season is going to be going 7 innings, and then going into the 8th inning, that would be extra innings to them. You'd get that runner on second base. So, yeah, speaking of which, how do you like that runner on second base fucking deal?
Well, I mean, I like it. I told you, anything to speed the game up. I think it's different. I think this is the year to like, hey, let's try it. Let's see what works, what doesn't work, and
do you think this goes forward?
I think so. It speeds up the games, saves arms.
Because I remember at first you were like, I don't fucking like this, blah blah blah.
Yeah. I mean, just a lot of fans aren't staying for these games that late anymore.
They're not fans though.
Yeah, it's not to say they got stuff to do. They got work, bro. I mean,
I'll give you that. They do have work. They have things to do. So,
I know personally, I would stay a lot when I lived in La Puente.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had season tickets and I lived in Fontana one year, dude, I couldn't stay for those games, those late games all the time, because man, that was a heck of a drive back there, And then I had to be up, at like 5:30 in the morning the next day to go teach. Like, dude, that's pretty heavy. Of course, in the summers, now that I'm teaching, if I go to a game, I'm pretty much staying there till the end. But again, everybody has their own scenarios,
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
So right. I like it.
All right, man. On that note, let's go ahead and call it a night. I want to hear the Artie exit here. Let's hear it.
Yep. Well, let's be safe out there, people. Make sure to wash your hands and wear those masks, and we'll catch you later. Be safe.
All right, absolutely, baby. You guys be safe over there, and we're going to be safe over here, guys. Don't forget, you guys can reach us on Twitter, on Instagram, and at theblownstatepodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you guys hit us up, like, follow, subscribe, share, whatever you're doing, wherever you guys find us. Thank you guys for finding us, and thank you guys for having a good time with us. Thank you guys from all over the country and all over the world for being with us. We love you guys, and we'll catch you guys next week.